Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today, we are going to be talking about the entire crypto market. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask guys, could please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely. And of course, I always do greatly appreciate it. Now, overall, yesterday I did make a video on XRP where I did share a few things. Now, the major thing that I was talking about was inflation rates. I talked to you guys about how we are basically marching into a massive market collapse. Now, what are we talking about within that? Well, ultimately, we are not talking about a stock market crash. We are talking about the financial economy of the US, aka the US dollar. I do believe that we are nearing the point where we will see the dollar pretty much fall in massive value. And this is in part because of other nations kind of moving away from the US dollar. They don't want to be under a US dominant dollar. And the reason for that is because of mass printing. So let's jump in for a few things. I really want to talk to you guys about a little bit of things before we do kind of move into the charts. And of course, that is the inflation rate. So yesterday I shared this tweet in my XRP video, and I want to just really kind of bring it up real quick before we continue on into this video, because inflation rates are far higher than they are really letting on. I do believe that we will see the true inflation rates around the summertime. Now, obviously, as we do see those rates get revealed, I do believe that that is when we will see a massive US dollar collapse. Now, let's talk about that and let's address that. Well, first off, why is the US dollar looked at as something that they want to move away from? Well, yesterday I retweeted a tweet from Kim.com. If nobody knows who Kim.com is, that's totally fine. All you really need to understand is the gist of this. By printing trillions every year, the US government is ripping off the world that uses US dollar as a reserve currency, freezing Iran's forex reserves, seizing Afghanistan's assets, freezing Russia's US dollar reserves, and overseas assets of Russian individuals. Now, this is not only happening in these areas, this is an entire global event. We actually see down here, by weaponizing the dollar reserve currency and international banking system, the U.S. is helping promote Bitcoin in epic ways. And it is that sense, right? They are utilizing the dollar as a reserve currency and massive weapon in the financial areas. And this is actually leading individuals, not Bitcoin, by the way, but we're seeing individuals moving away from dollar dominated currency reserves into something better, aka digital currencies. They're moving into something that they can control and have a dominant currency themselves to get away from this. Now, all while we talk about this, right? We talk about the dollar. So I have been addressing the dollar for a while now. Now, I do believe that this is going to have a meltdown event. Might be actually happening right now, as you guys do see us hitting that resistance at the 786. This is the weekly candle. Obviously, you guys can see a little bit of weakness forming on that 786 fib level. On the monthly candle, you guys also see the resistance being met there. Now, as we look at this, let's check out the daily candle. Let's look at this. So, obviously, it's turning a little bit red. Is this confirmed that this is going to break down? No, it's not. But I do believe that it is the first red candle since going back as far as March 30th. So that's pretty significant. But I do really want to address the idea on what is going to happen and when is it going to happen. Well, first and foremost, I do believe that we are at our local top for the dollar. Can we go a little bit higher? Yes, but I do believe that this is almost topped out fully. I think that we could see a little bit more of a push to possibly 101 to 102, maybe even hitting that 103 topping point going back to March of 2020. But after that, we will see an overall collapse of the US dollar in terms of value. Now, while we see this happen, we will see green across the board for crypto, and I do believe that this is going to cause a massive surge along the boards for stocks and also crypto. And I did show this in that XRP video. I said that this collapse will lead to an economic massive surge along risk on assets. Now let's look at risk on assets real quick. So stocks are actually having a little bit of a field day, obviously because of the US dollar is showing, a little bit of weakness. Now, this is why I've said watch the dollar closely, because if the indices are doing fairly well, guess what else is doing pretty good? That's right, you've guessed it, Bitcoin. In fact, I know that Bitcoin doesn't look too good on the weekly candle, but check out that daily candle. We are seeing that nice impulse off of those demand zones down there. Looks like we kind of settled on around like 39.6K as major support. We're hitting a little bit of resistance though at that, 236. If we could break out of this 236, we will eye that 382 level fairly quickly. But of course, we have a lot of resistance to be met beforehand. I'm going to be watching this closely, especially now. I say to keep a close eye on the dollar. I would say, the dollar right now is a crucial target to really kind of watch for right now. This is probably one of the leading factors within this market and really kind of gives us a clear, sort of path to where we are headed. Right now, the Bitcoin price chart looks pretty good. We just need to break out of that resistance. But it looks like this could possibly confirm the bottom being in for Bitcoin. And I say that because of the bouncing point where we bounced off of, which is the same exact area as the September lows. And I've always described the September lows in a sense on like, look at where we currently are compared to those September lows. This will lead us to 70K. And if we could break that, then, it's time to buckle up. But in terms of RSI, I've also addressed RSI and where we could bounce off of. Looks like we bounced off of those September lows again in terms of RSI. This is significant. Now it looks like we have a clear path here on the RSI. We are going to be targeting the moving average at about 50.49. This is also going to lead that charge above resistance. I'm actually very excited for this. And I also do believe that we should be watching the dollar because the dollar is actually going to streamline this process. Volume looks pretty good on Bitcoin. It's not, it's a little bit diminished, but it's a good amount of volume for Bitcoin. So, overall, I would say Bitcoin looks pretty strong here. Now, you might be wondering, Nick, Bitcoin is pumping. Why are my altcoins barely moving? Well, let's address this. So first off, XRP, right? It almost looks like XRP will most likely have a test of the 200-day the 200-day EMA. Sorry. This is most likely going to continue to rise a little bit. So we'll most likely have a test of this at around this low level from February to possibly even a little bit higher. We could be at that bottoming point for XRP, which honestly, it looks like we kind of are. We just have to be careful, though. Excuse me, guys. We just have to be careful a little bit here with XRP. And the reason why I say that is because yesterday I put a demand zone on the board in terms of a bullish demand zone. That is at 92.5-cent zone at the 236. Now, where's our bearish demand zone? Well, our bearish demand zone would be at around these support levels of roughly 62 cents. But if we are going to bounce off of the current level that we are at now, which is more than, it's like some support going back to August, which is pretty significant. But the issue here is the idea that I shouldn't be paying attention to alts. Nobody really should be paying attention to altcoins. The reason why I say that is because look at their patterns here. A lot of them are testing lows going back as far as, January, even possibly even summertime lows, like even QNT, right? Like QNT is testing some levels, going back as far as like November, right? Cspr was a very significant one. This tested those July support zones. Obviously, a lot of these altcoins look a little weak. Reason why is because they're Bitcoin pairs. I've been addressing this and telling you guys to make sure that you're paying attention to Bitcoin pairs. Because right now, they're all at resistance. And this is because we are awaiting Bitcoin's confirmed breakout event. This will most likely lead to that wave 5, similar to what we did see back here. When we look at this, it's going to ride with the dollar, right? Whatever the dollar does, expect us to do the opposite. Meaning, if the dollar's going to rise in value, we are going to drop in value. If the dollar drops in value, we are going to surge in value. Fairly simple. Now, why aren't we watching altcoins that closely? Well, look at the total too, right? We came down and tested near perfect support zones. We are in between resistance and support. We are on the weekly candle here, guys. We look at the level of resistance. It's actually a little bit before the 618, as you guys do see on the screen. And we're actually between some EMAs that are turning into resistance. Now, the major resistance point here is almost those same candles going back to January. We need a clear breakout event above the 618 here. I would say definitely watch the total 2 if you are interested in altcoin movements and rotations. I do believe that this is at the bottoming stage, and we will most likely have that same repeat pattern from July all the way to November. But it's going to take some time, and it's going to be, I would say, Bitcoin dominance that really shows us that as well. I charted Bitcoin dominance yesterday, and I really kind of showed you guys this path that I would like Bitcoin dominance to go on, where we either have a strong bounce from our current levels that we're at now. If we drop down to, again, test those 39 to 41% zones, that's totally fine as well. But ultimately, we will see that massive, topping point for Bitcoin dominance as well, which will lead to massive altcoin rotations. And basically, the thing is that altcoin rotations will lead to Bitcoin dominance dropping. That's why I always say, you could kind of utilize Bitcoin dominance as a buy and sell target, meaning you want to buy Bitcoin or buy altcoins when Bitcoin dominance is at resistance, and you want to sell altcoins when Bitcoin dominance is at support. And the reason why I say that is because as Bitcoin dominance rises and the price actually moves, altcoins will either sit stable or drop in value. So definitely keep a close eye out on Bitcoin dominance. But things look pretty good. I would say that an economic crash for the dollar is nearing. Similar to, again, that 2020 to 2021 timeframe, this was a crash on the dollar. Okay, and I've shared this before. These are 13% moves, by the way. This might not seem like a lot to people, but this is a reserve currency. So when you look at something like this in terms of a 13% crash, that's pretty significant. The reason why I bring this up is because I honestly think that we can kind of come down and test, these levels back here, which would be about a 14.21% drop. This is the 2018 lows, by the way. This is lows going back as far as November 14th. I meant these lows down here, sorry. Which would be a little bit less than the 13% zone. This is, again, those 2018 lows. This is where we really kind of headed for in terms of, alt season. During this time, we've seen some altcoins going parabolic. Of course, XRP was one. And the reason why is because, what happened during January of 2017 all the way to, again, February of 2018. And it looks like we're kind of printing that same overall picture. I mean, honestly, it looks like we are in a very similar structure to this. It could possibly be the idea of March of 2015 all the way to around January 17 on the similar, sort of path that we're on right now, where we have that nice little topping point followed by almost like a cup and handle, if you will, and then that collapse. Similar structure right now. You have that nice little cup formation, possibly, a little bit of a cup and handle here if we have that nice drop and, impulse back up, followed by that collapse. So, again, very similar structure, but I do think that this will lead to obviously a massive stock market boom and crypto boom, and I think that we are very close to that. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.